Still out with that card from the midfield.
Doherty up to 10 saves. She had 12 against the Cavaliers, and I think that was the regular season meeting last year. That one won by the Dukes 15-10, and then Virginia came in into the second round. The Dukes had a bye. Virginia and Stanford met in the opening round. Virginia won that over in Charlottesville, and JMU finished the Cavalier season last year 15-12. I didn't look to see how many goals you had in that one, Elena.
I do not agree with that call.
A bit of hip check it was on
they're
Duval.
gonna get Lauren on that. I think that was really good defensive positioning. I think that they were trying to UVA was trying to force that ball through the two defenders. I think that should have been called a charge.
Off the back line, Cavaliers will maintain possession.
Sports Network is proud to present the CAA Game of the Week. Today, conference play in the CAA continuing here at Centera Park in Harrisonburg, Virginia. The defending champion, JMU Dukes, hosting the Elon Phoenix right here on Lax Sports Network. Tom Esch and Tracy Weiner here with you guys today. This is a rematch of the 2017 CAA championship game, the first of JMU's back-to-back CAA titles. A little different this year. CMU looking for their third straight CAA title. Elon looking in that fourth spot to sort of stay in the hunt for that conference spot.
This is a huge game for Elon today, although JMU a win obviously boosts them in the ranking. They still have a chance. They're going to be the top seed probably going into the CAA tournament with a win today. But for Elon, this gives them an opportunity to get into that tournament. They sit at 2-2 right now. They need to beat a team with Towson ahead of them that they've already lost to, and now they need to beat JMU.
Yeah, Elon, a team, they've only missed the tournament once since entering the CAA a few years ago. And both these teams coming off close games last week. One-goal games. They were exciting for both teams, JMU in double overtime, and helped big time by their goalies. Elon's goalie, Paulina DeFada, made a huge save against Delaware. And then, as we know, Molly Doherty, she's played with Team USA. They both had 16 saves on Sunday. We know it's going to be exciting, this one, between the two goalies.
It's going to be a great game. What you want from your goalies is just stability in the net. That's what both of these teams have. It's very fortunate for the defenders. As you know, JMU, their X is clearly on their back, being the defending national champion. Everybody going at them 100 miles an hour. But for Elon, when you are rebuilding, restocking your team, to have a goalie that keeps you in every single game, that allows your defense to make a few mistakes, and you still have an opportunity to win, that's priceless.
And so is Doherty's. Since she stepped on the scene here, she's been so impressive. Three-time Defensive Player of the Week this year. Her first full game came almost a year to the day last year against Virginia. She had split some time up to that point of last season, and then they beat Virginia at that point 15-10. She had 12 saves in that game and just took off, exploded, and then the national title run from there.
Well, she's unbelievable, and I love what she brings to the field day in and day out. You know, she had to wait until her senior year to play in high school. She was behind Gussie Johns, who we know is just an unbelievable goalie, and to learn in that mindset to play at, you know, St. Stephen's St. Agnes, one of the top high school programs in the country. All she knows how to do is play at a high level and win.
Yeah, and talking about some of those young scorers on Elon and how they're approaching someone like Doherty, Josh Hexter said they got to get at least 30 shots up on her. You're not going to shoot 20 times, 15, 20 times and be able to come out and win this game.
Yeah, you definitely don't want her to get comfortable in between the pipes.
As for DeFada, she's someone, a Fairfield transfer. She's really come into this program, and as you mentioned, Tracy, provided some stability for that defense and some of these younger players, and she's been pretty solid so far. And even Shelly Clays-Bacham was praising her as the opposing coach, that she's one of a lot of good goalies here in the CAA.
She's really good. I remember her from high school days in Half Follow Hills. You see her standing in a little pile of mud today, so you're going to see what her footing, if that's affected at all, because you can see that she's right in mud.
Well, we do have weather as a factor today. There's a tornado watch in the area right now. There's a flood watch, a lot of storms coming through the mid-Atlantic region as we speak. But right now, we've had a window where there's a little bit of sun poking out, and you can see the breeze right there on some of the players' jerseys. So right now, we're doing okay. We think we have a good window. As you know, this game was moved up from 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, as you know what time it is, it's 2:30 p.m. Eastern here in the afternoon on the East Coast. So it looks like we could get a good window to play here. Hopefully, the rain, as it was raining just about an hour ago, will hold off for the most of this game.
Yeah, that's kind of really all you can ask for. We've had pretty good weather so far in terms of snow and whatnot on the East Coast, so a little rain, I don't think anybody's going to complain.
So we see Elon with the first possession of the game. There is Jillian Curran trying to get things going, and we have an early infraction and a legal check, and let's do this. So we got an 8-meter arc.
This is a nice opportunity for Elon to get on the board early. The defense swarmed, but they just went into the shooting space on that one, and they looked like they're a little slow just stopping ball.
Here is Curran, the freshman out of Fairhaven, New Jersey, with a look at it to start here. Less than 30 seconds in, about 30 seconds in, and the defense is quick, and there is Stanovich, Caroline Stanovich, who looks like another cost turnover for her. She's going to be someone we call her name a lot in the defensive end for JMU today.
Which is interesting because we were just saying that the obstruction of shooting space was caused by the defense really not swarming. They swarmed so quickly on that 8-meter that they were able to cause a turnover.
Yeah, Curran didn't have a good look at it at all there. So JMU will take over here on offense. The second offense here in the CAA since they've started CAA play, about 12.25 goals a game thus far. 51st in the country over the course of the season.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the offense performs without, 3 or 4 of their big guns from last year that graduated.
Yeah, and even this season, performing without Lizzie Fox, Hallie Dunkel, a couple of injured players have been made impacts both last year and mainly this year for this team and filled in the void of some of those seniors from last year, but looking to get things going here. There's Charlotte Haggerty behind the cage at X. Interesting pass there to Casey Knobloch. Then getting in the middle, and there is a save by DeFada. It comes out to JMU. Scramble now for the ground ball.
That was a nice setup. They had everything going in motion. I think DeFada may have got a piece of that, but I think it rocked the cage and hit the pipe.
And McDaniel with the opportunity at the crease there. The shot clock, or the possession clock rather, did reset in that moment. So it got either the cage or DeFada. And there is a rush, and yes, we do have an infraction there as Kelsey Reed tried to make a move to the net. We'll have a free position on the arc.
It's a nice spot there. A little space going, and you'll see right here. There it is,
Yep,
it hit the pipe.
Off the pipe, that's
Maddie
right.
McDaniel just, flush on.
Here is Reed. Looks like the defender does get a piece of it, and so does DeFada. We have a scramble in front. Elon really swarmed there.
I wonder if it's going to be hard to get footwork off the 8 meters because both teams now have had an 8-meter that's usually a slam dunk getting swarmed, and I wonder if it's just hard to get a good first step on the grass.
Yeah, we did a game here a couple weeks ago, and the Bermuda wasn't totally in yet, but now with the rain, it looks a little greener this week, but at the same time with the rain, it's a little bit more slick. As we told you, it was a downpour when we arrived on scene here today, so the sun is poking out, which is a nice change, and maybe we can dry things out. It's pretty breezy, too.
Yeah, it definitely looks brighter than what it did about an hour ago.
It's nice, a little refreshing there. There's Mae McGlynn working around there.
This is the best I've ever seen JMU's field look, and it just looks beautiful with the. Usually this time of year, it's not green.
Like you said, the weather's been not too terrible in the Mid-Atlantic.
No, not at all.
Of course, of the spring. Some people might disagree with that, but for the most part.
Not after coaching from last year.
McGlynn over the middle. And it does go out there on Elon, so JMU's going to take over.
Yeah, they had a nice play going on there. McGlynn tries to dump it behind the cage, but again, getting swarmed by that defense, and what happens is it forces her to adjust her pass and ends up throwing it out of bounds.
So JMU once again will take over on offense. Nothing doing so far here at Centera Park. Tom Ash and Tracy Wiener with you guys. Little mid-afternoon Friday lacrosse for you today here on LAC Sports Network.
Good Friday.
Yes, that's right.
It's always a good Friday when there's lacrosse.
Nice catch by Haven, a nice look there over the middle to Haggerty, who's just wide.
Yeah, you'd like to see Haggerty bury that because you don't get, that's a textbook, draw and dump right there.
She got a good look, yeah. There's another look to the cutter over the middle. Logan Brennan, also a little wide, so JMU getting some shots up early.
Definitely penetrating the 8-meter.
It's like they're working on their cutting, and there is number 22, Rachel Mady, getting to the cage and scoring. The freshman out of Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. JMU goes up 1-0.
Third time's a charm on that. That was a nice play all around. Again, good ball movement by JMU, and you see when Mady catches this, for those of you that are trying to learn this game, she is moving directly to the cage, and she's able to split the defense because of it. If you catch the ball and your feet aren't moving on that, you're going to get swarmed. But because she catches it on the run, she's able to split the defense. It takes a nice bounce shot. Can't go high to high on that, so that's really a better percentage for Defada.
That was really well done. Her 11th goal of the year. She had a goal against Hofstra on Sunday, and she had a hat trick against Drexel a week ago today on Friday. So Mady, the freshman, really helping to fill some of the void left by Fox and Dunkel in the midfield. Shelly with a little bit of a smile there in the sideline. You see there in the white hat.
Only a little bit.
Just for a second, right?
Yeah, you won't see another smile again until, you know, I don't know. I'm going to say around 4:30.
when the clock strikes 0. So we'll have the draw control here with McDaniel.
Draw control is such a important part of the game of girls lacrosse, and I like just watching how everybody attacks it.
Everyone's got a little bit of a different approach. That she's going up against Jillian Curran there, and
There was nobody better that I've ever watched than Taylor Cummings, though.
still even to this day when you see her with Team USA and the professional leagues as well. She's fun to watch. She does it all. Taylor Cummings.
Pretty much.
So valuable. You think about value. It's so great.
Well, because not only does she do the big things, she does the little things. But draw control is the whole game, I think, still, to this day.
Well, Elon, I was talking to Josh Hexter about it. He said in their win over Delaware, it was the first time this year they had won the draw control, and it was so huge for them. And getting that win was a big result of that. So obviously looking to do that again today. But here is JMU. There is Haven bouncing it in and scoring 2-0 JMU.
Interesting, both plays are similar. Moving the ball around, looking like you're going to come in through the elbow, and instead sending a cutter right down the middle, right down Broadway as we call it, and catching on the move and then being able to slice through the defense. Haven does a great job right here, and you see she's completely surrounded. There's 5 Elon players around her, but you know, none of them are able to get a body on her and stop her forward motion because her feet, she just catches that on the dead run.
A crafty goal, I would say, by Haven there, showing some of her seniority as a senior out of Syracuse, New York, and a captain. No, she knows how to put it in the net, no matter, you know, if it's a hard shot or if it's a little bit softer, a little bit of a change up there.
Correct, and you know, coming from Syracuse, she probably thinks it's balmy today.
It is. I agree. As a Syracuse guy myself, born and raised.
And you admit that. Good for you. That's good to know.
Ithaca College grad, though, Tracy, so.
Gotcha.
Not that there's anything wrong with Syracuse University, I'm just saying. Park School of Communications does a good job, too. A lot of good alums out there. So JMU leading 2-0 about 5 minutes in.
And this is a good start for JMU. You know, what you want to do is want to finish out the CAAs undefeated, get the top seed going in, and you want Elon, if they do make this tournament as the 4th seed, they're going to open up against JMU. So you want to try to send a message as well if you can.
Curran does win that draw control there after the infraction, so Elon will take over. And something that Elon's really trying to work on is just staying focused when things don't go their way. With such a young roster, Josh Hexter really wants his team to just stay focused, especially on some of those little things, so things don't get out of hand like we saw last Friday against Towson, where they were even for the first 15 minutes, and then one thing led to another, and all of a sudden it was out of hand.
Correct. And you see, wow, Elon runs the exact same play that JMU was running when they scored their 2 goals, except the Elon attacker is inside the 8-meter already, not coming from the 12 on the run. And I think that makes all the difference because she was able to be swarmed immediately on that pass.
And she didn't have any momentum to match that.
Gives the defender a little more of an opportunity to match up.
You can see there Elon with 3 turnovers thus far against that JMU defense and not getting any shots off. So that JMU defense, which we were talking about before we started today, so much seniority coming back, so much experience too.
Correct, and so much pride that goes into that. I mean, you know, I know we talk about the CAAs and whatnot, but they are the defending national champions.
For a reason.
Well, and that always plays in their minds too. You know, they want to...
Oh, the ball bounces a couple times off the stick. That was a very interesting, and it's good. That's a goal there by Ava Frantz, who scores. Wow, Frantz, her 2nd goal of the season, sort of played ping pong with it and got into the back of the net.
Yeah, that was interesting. What happens on this play is that the ball hits not once but twice. So right here, and then again when she tries to corral it, and it goes right into the cage.
See the look on her face. I don't know if it was relief, excitement, maybe a little bit of everything there from France as she bobbled it and somehow, luckily, got it past Defada in net.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Defada. You can't really blame that one on her because it's hard to track the ball as it is.
So Elon decides to take a timeout after JMU takes a 3-0 lead. And we've talked so much about JMU, and just the defending national champions is something that as a program, something they're really proud of. Their first championship, national championship in program history, and they go through the regular season and they end up with a record of 18-1 as they head to the CAA tournament, then win their second straight CAA tournament, 11th CAA title, beating Towson in a tough team. And that make that run in the NCAA tournament, Tracy, which was really impressive, the teams they beat. Virginia, Florida, UNC, and BC. Those are big names.
Absolutely, and I was there for the Final Four. Obviously, it was at Stony Brook University, and I remember walking on the field for the semifinals. And when I went into the defensive end of JMU, it was impressive. Those girls were big, they were strong, they were fast, and I just thought to myself, holy cow, if these girls are as good as everybody's making them out to be, they're going to be hard to beat.
And that's a big reason why this year they've been ranked in the top 10 all season long. They were 4th to start the year in the nation and the media poll. And you look at their defense and who they have back. 3 of their 4 starters from last year's national championship game. Emma Johnson's been starting. She's a freshman. Stanowich, who was a midseason first-team All-American. Lauren Duval and Natalie Fusillo from Eastport, New York, all in there. And providing that backbone. And you got Dougherty, as we talked about at the top of the show.
Absolutely, and all these players, they are proud champions, and defense wins championships. And I remember, I was talking to Rebecca Tooker, who graduated last year, the defender. She's also from ESM. And, just talking about the pride that you have as a defender, because all season long, you're not getting the love. It's all about the attackers. But when it comes to playoff time, it is truly the team that has the best defense that will always be the champions.
And you can see that definitely for sure in JMU last year. And we'll see what happens this year too as well. Lizzie Fox is actually out there, so we weren't sure about her status going into the game. We thought she might be out a few games, but I did see her out there. So Lizzie Fox providing a little more punch to that JMU offense in the midfield. So good to see her healthy.
Without a doubt, and contributing because Shelly's Coach is so high on her, and just really to get the experience as a freshman to get on the field is just, in college, it's not a given. A lot of kids in high school expect it, but not in college.
Lizzie Fox, just a freshman still, so she's making an impact early in her career as well. JMU back on offense here after winning the draw control and looking to get things going. Here's Logan Brennan working from goal line extended, getting it around. That's Daria Lucchese, excuse me. And going hard once again to the rack and scoring is McDaniel. JMU taking a 4-0 lead.
Boy, Maddie McDaniel makes what we call a strength move to the cage. It's just a power drive. She likes her matchup. She sees what's going on, and she's going to see. So what McDaniel does is just takes her defender 1v1. And you see every shot that they're taking against Defada is a bounce shot. When the defense is falling into you as a goalie, all you can do is go stick to stick. So what you want to do is adjust your shot. McDaniel's so much taller, Voorhees did everything that she could to try to keep her out of there, but when it's only a one-on-one, McDaniel's going to be tough to stop.
Yeah, she's really made a so much progress in her game from last year to this year. They wanted her to go to the cage more, to use her size more, and now taking most of the majority of the draw controls. She's number 2 in the CAA this year, so doing a little bit more for this team, and I think they've really seen the benefits of that.
They sure have, and she's won, almost every single draw in this game so far. And like you said, Elon being a young team, playing the national champions is already, something that's in the back of their minds, and now you're down 4-0. We have to see if they can stop the flow.
There's another shot that goes wide, just wide there by Rachel Mady, and Elon's got the backup, so they'll take over possession.
That's a tough turnover for JMU right there. They have an opportunity to kind of put the pedal to the metal and really, and one of the few non-bounce shots sails past the net, and then they don't have a backup for that. So this is a big break for Elon right here. Let's see if they can get on a little bit of a roll.
Yeah, all of JMU's goals, like you said, seem very similar thus far and have been the same. Sort of the bounce, the low shots that have worked in sort of a lot of traffic as well. Maybe that's part of the scouting report on Defada, that she does see the ball pretty well.
Absolutely.
Up high. There's a tough pass there, goal line extended, but it's picked up. And we'll have an infraction and foul. Looks like we'll get it at the 12-meter fan. Elon will continue to work. There's Quinn Daly, the sophomore captain. Pass into the middle, that defense collapses, and Elon gets it back out. Curran looking for a shot. Turned away there by Fox. There's about 25 seconds here on the possession clock.
Just watching this, it's smart the way Elon is doing this. Very patient, waiting for a higher percentage shot.
13 seconds on the possession clock. It gets to McGlynn, who gets in a couple of defenders, and the ball is loose. Ground ball with 5 seconds on the possession clock, so Elon will have to pick this up and shoot quickly before it expires, and it's going to be JMU at the end. It looks like they were going to get it anyway.
JMU just does a great hustle job on that. And you see, not raking the ball, but hitting the ball into green space and chasing has become a big part of this game, because the empty stick check no longer is really a call, so to keep it in that scrum, so to speak, is not to anybody's advantage.
JMU will take over once again on the offensive side, where they've looked very crisp thus far. Other than a couple of wide shots, they've really got their cutters moving, and that's what Shelly Clays-Bockham had said. She wants to make sure their program can do a little bit of everything and be a team that is dangerous from dodgers to feeders and sort of work things around. And she thinks they have one of the most versatile offenses in not only the CAA but the country. She thinks no other team in the CAA can match up with a team like them with the different scores they have, and they've shown that today with all the different scores. 4 different scores so far.
Absolutely. And what do you want?
There's another shot, and another low one. That's Haggerty. Once again, it's JMU 5-0.
I like the setups. I like the movement on offense by JMU. Feet never stop moving, never catch the ball standing still.
JMU so far a 5-0 lead, 5 different goal scorers, and they're getting those cutters through the middle. It seems like the soft spot in the Elon defense, and really working through their progression so far.
What JMU is doing is they're spreading out their offense. With everybody moving like that, they're taking defenders out of the 8-meter, and they can't stand still and swarm. So they're getting one-on-one matchups every time they go in a goal.
Impressive start thus far by the Dukes with about less than 10 minutes in. 5-0, haven't allowed any shots thus far from Elon. Let's take a look at this Haggerty goal once again. Rather, let's not. Never mind. I thought we had a replay, but the wind knocked it out, as they say. It's getting a little breezy down there.
It is getting breezy down there for sure. The official had to take his hat off. He was wearing a hat to start this game on the field. That did not last very long.
As we said, the game time, as you know, moved up from 5 p.m. Eastern to 2:30 p.m. Eastern time today at Centera Park here in Harrisonburg, Virginia, just because of some of the storms in the area, looking to come in a little later. But right now we got a window of decent weather, so so far so good. As JMU once again wins the draw control and they take over, it's Lucchese, a little spin, and gets it back out. So tried what she thought she could do and smartly worked the offense around.
And patiently. Like, patience is the whole game. You know, as an attacker, you really don't have a lot of patience. You just want to get to goal.
There is Lucchese. What a move there. Great dodge and get to the cage. That was nice.
That was a great save by Defada, but again, that's a high shot.
Yeah, if Lucchese maybe went low there, like her teammates have, she would have had a little bit of a highlight, I must say. Stuck her foot in the ground.
That was beautiful. But it was a great save by Defada.
Lucchese showing some quickness. Finding a diving Haggerty, who gets it out. Nicely defended there, though. There's another low bouncer that goes wide, and I thought that went off JMU, but it's going to be JMU ball.
They're saying that the Elon defender was the last to touch it.
$5-0 JMU. There is Lucchese once again, looking to use some of that quickness, and she does get it, and it scores. It's Daria Lucchese scores to make it 6-0.
I'm not sure if that goal is going to count, because I believe that she's getting a yellow card for this, for a dangerous follow-through. So we need to see if that's going to happen because her
There it
follow
is.
through on
Yep.
that shot hit the defender.
Good catch there by Tracy.
So I'm not sure if the goal counts and she gets a card, or if the goal doesn't count.
Yeah, you can see the Elon. You can see the Elon player that right after she had released that goes down after getting hit in the head, and you can see sort of what happened. The goal will not count, so we'll take that one off the board. It will be a yellow card for Lucchese.
And it is a nice play, but you got to give the Elon defender credit for stepping up on that. And I think it was Curtin, if I remember correctly, if I saw correctly, number 10. And honestly, just taking that hit after the sometimes you have to close in on the defense, on the attacker.
Yeah. So Elon will go a man up here. Have opportunity to cut into that 5-goal lead and get some momentum on their side. But, oh, nice pickup there after the failed catch.
They should be able to find the open player on this. They're moving really well.
Elon's offense has moved pretty well. They just haven't been able to convert sort of later on at the end of their offensive schemes. There is a nice look in front and a goal by Mae McGlynn. Nicely done there by Elon to take advantage of the man up. They're on the board for the first time this game. It's 5-1.
And that was a good look. And what happens is while everybody's rotating and moving, McGlynn just kind of stations herself in the middle of the 8-meter. And so you're not going to have a defender in there because she'll get called for 3 seconds if there's nobody that she's guarding in there, and they can't get any more fouls when they're already man down. So you see right here, just kind of slides right in and then buries the shot.
You can see taking advantage of that situation. McGlynn, her 34th goal the year. She leads the team in goals and points, and showing why right there to get Elon on the board and sort of hopefully get them some momentum here as we head to the second part of this first half.
Yeah, Thompson does a great job, though, on that assist to see in there and put it in there. I mean, McGlynn didn't even have to break stride, nothing.
Thompson, who's not normally known for her feeding either. She's only got about 6 assists this year, but nice pass there.
Yeah, when you're man up, that's what happens. You have to keep looking and moving the ball, and the offense has to shift before the defense can catch up, and they're already man down, and that's on their brains. And
so yet another draw control there for McDaniel, just taking it all herself that time, using her length. 6 feet flat as in the program.
that was a great win on that.
Yeah.
And then to do the underhand pass to get it out of danger. They're gonna probably spread out and try to run this clock off.
Looks like what they're doing. You can see Lucchese released after the goal. Back on the field.
And I always forget that it's a releasable.
Yes.
Yes. So after the goal, she would come back on anyway.
There's Brennan working from X, looking for some of those cutters to go through, and they do. Just nothing happening. Except for Brennan making some moves and gets it back out. Right around 30 seconds on the possession clock, and there's another low shot and a score. This time it's Rachel Mady, the freshman, getting her second of the game. JMU taking a 6-1 lead.
The spot that she picks on, that's unsavable. You cannot save that shot unless you maybe throw your body. I can't even imagine what you have to do as a goalie. Lay down and
It's such a tough angle.
It's just, but look at the spot that she picks. There's just no way to stop that.
JMU playing with a purpose today, especially with their shooting. They've been very efficient thus far and have a very focused game plan.
Well, it's interesting. This might be their last game for a while, correct? Do they have one game left?
They play. They stay at home this Sunday. They've got William and Mary for their final CAA game, and then they'll have 2 weeks, I want to say, until the CAA tournament. They have next weekend off.
And they're probably excited about that.
I can imagine.
I'd like to ask Shelly if she's given them any time off. My gut tells me no.
It's a little break, but I'm sure the practices will be extra fun. The games are always more fun than the practice, so time off's always nice, but with that still, hey, we gotta go to practice every day. And
yeah, it's just when you're preparing for a game, it's just a whole different mentality.
But maybe practice will give them time to get a little healthier and improve a little bit more to get ready for the CAA and NCAA eventual tournament if they make it.
If they win out their conference
Oh, yeah.
and then win their first round.
Nice dodge there by McClin to get in there, but there's too many defenders and jarred loose. That was Mady who jarred it loose there. Mady making an impact on both sides of the midfielder out of Phoenixville.
It's a nice.
Kristen Russell right there. She's moved up from mid-A to D the last couple of games because I mentioned some of those injuries, and only seen a few games now been relied upon to do something like that.
No
which was
transition.
important.
That was great transition. Just
Yeah.
getting the ball out of danger and finding some green space before you get rid of it. Nothing in traffic.
Haven directing things as she always does as the senior captain, the leader of this offense for sure. So good during that tournament weekend last year.
They were all so good.
Gotta have everybody clicking at the right time, which is an art, you feel like, you know?
I do, you know.
Nice pass there by Haven, a quick stick from Brennan. It's stopped by DeFada, excuse me.
DeFada makes a great move across, and again, on the quick stick, you know it's going to go high to high. You don't have enough time on a quick stick, so DeFada just goes and jumps and eats that shot right up.
JMU with 9 shots on goal thus far in the first 15 minutes. JMU riding a little bit through the midfield there. 6-1 JMU here, less than 15 minutes to go. Start your lacrosse Saturdays with Ellison College Central here on LAC Sports Network. It begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time every week. We'll get you ready for all the biggest games of the weekend from around the country. Don't let your game day begin without checking out Ellison College Central only on LAC Sports Network. Another show in store for everybody tomorrow morning, tomorrow Saturday. Just an update for everybody.
My days are always off when I don't have a school day on a Friday because I feel like it's Saturday today.
Yeah, a lot of people this week or next week had a lot of vacation, spring break type deals.
Yeah, you either had it before Easter Sunday or you get it the week after.
Summer Laree's here on the 8-meter free position. Elon with another chance to put one on the board. Laree's had a hat trick against Delaware over the weekend, so she has come on. She will take it, takes the shot, and Dougherty sees it all the way.
That's a clean save, saw it all the way, and doesn't give up a rebound.
We talked about Dougherty at the start of the broadcast and just how solid she's been back there. And you mentioned playing behind Gussie Johns. I'm sure she learned a lot, but wanted to play too, and then doesn't get her shot until a senior in high school, and then gets to a place like JMU.
And again, when you play behind a goalie like that, you can't help but get better and better every day. Gussie's just so good.
So JMU takes over up 6-1. There's Casey Knobloch behind the cage.
I would imagine Dougherty and Gussie Johns are the two goalies for Team USA.
Yeah. Gussie's been there a while, and Dougherty might be, once again, working with her quite a bit.
Yeah, and I would say that Dougherty, Gussie Johns, Meg Taylor, probably the better goalies in the country right now.
Out of Maryland, yeah. It's passed there. And over to Haven. Some cutters making things a little congested. Nice catch there and a score. That was pretty by Katie Tchaikovsky. The feed from Haven, and JMU takes a 7-1 lead.
What kind of trust do you have to have when you throw that into a sophomore like that? Tchaikovsky makes a tough catch and a tougher shot. So you cannot even blame the defender on that because it was great defense. You see right here, everybody's in good position, but that's just a great play. I mean, Zajura had great position.
You can see the look on Zajura's face. She goes, I was right here.
I don't even know how she caught that, she's saying. How'd she catch that?
Yeah.
Not only does she catch it, though, she buries it.
Right, and puts it in the back of the net. Tchaikovsky's a sophomore, as you mentioned, her 9th goal of the year. Someone they've been pushing all year long, and Shelly Claes-Bacham saying she's really been the glue now of their offense, stepping up in that attack role and that front line. They've expected her to move the ball, make good decisions, and she's someone that they say doesn't take a lot of risk, but they want her to take more. And I think almost that play, I mean, it was a tough catch, but the shot, I mean, that situation might have been even tougher.
And that's why you see the smile on Coach Elliott.
Yeah.
And there's a, Chikaski's probably saying to him, Coach, you saw that, right?
That's what you wanted me to do.
Right.
Having a little chat there with Daria. You have a stick check here of Chikaski versus Chikaski.
Well, I guess because Hexter saying, we had great position, checking away. How does that stay in your stick? Maybe because it's not legal. Let's see.
Take a moment to figure it all out. Enjoy the weather, which is not raining at this point, which we're all happy for. I'll take one more look at this to see what exactly they're looking for.
So right here, they're saying, has it not fall out of the stick? How does it not? We need that stick checked. The game is going to be 7-1. It's rainy, so maybe it's not legal, but.
Oh, it's checking another athlete's stick, and the goal was good. It wasn't Chikaski. Instead, it was number 19, Lily Byrne, who gets a lot of high fives. Interesting turn of events there.
Yeah, maybe it was just a random stick check. I don't understand.
It might have been. I don't think Byrne has been in the game just yet, but maybe it was a random stick check, and we proceed with the goal from Chikaski. So she gets her goal, and she's excited about it, and so is JMU, and we'll pick the game back up. 12:51 to go. I guess we assumed it was Chikaski's stick just because of the fact that she scored the goal.
I would assume that's what they were doing. They must have got a tip from somewhere.
McDaniel once again takes the draw controller. Once again is doing pretty well in the circle today.
Doing really well.
This is our CAA game of the week. Tom Esch and Tracy Weiner here with you in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Getting a little darker, so we're hoping the weather cooperates. Game time moved up from 5 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern this afternoon.
It's a smart move. You don't want to put anybody at risk, anybody at danger, but you got to get these games in as we're approaching the end of the season.
Yeah, JMU with an open weekend next weekend, but Elon does not have one. They don't have a game on Sunday, but JMU does. There really wasn't another time to play this game.
There isn't, and you don't want to interrupt the academics as well. You have to understand that, college itself is coming to an end, and you're getting into finals time.
Memories, right, Tracy?
Memories of staying up for 48 hours straight, yes.
Oh, you were one of those who waited until the last minute?
100%. I still am.
Good ball movement by JMU, but it looks like a save in front by DeFada. But JMU does pick up the ground ball off the long rebound. The ball bounced out pretty far.
The aggressiveness of JMU is fun to watch. They never give up on a play.
They're going to settle down a little bit here. Once again, look for the right shot, right opportunity.
Well, you don't need to force it, and you do have an opportunity, like you were just saying, that if you continue to score and get into some running time with the weather the way that it is, and you can get this game in the books.
There's Lucchese, once again, using some quickness there on the right side, and then finding a teammate, and it just goes outside the goal line. Wow, that was close by Casey Knobloch, but the spin on the ball was just right for Elon and the Phoenix.
Zafata just got enough of that, and on that wet turf with the mud where the goal circle is, the ball dies.
So we're just stuck there.
So here I was worried that the mud was going to affect their footwork. Instead, it's helping keep balls out of the cage. I love it.
JMU putting a little pressure here on the clearing game. Tough bounce there off the grass. This is natural grass here at Centera Park, in case you guys are wondering.
It's been so long since I've seen it.
There's nothing better, though, than playing on nice, natural grass. No offense to the turf people out there, but natural grass, when it's in good shape.
I guess. I love playing on the turf. As a coach, I love coaching on it.
I'm sure, I know.
Practice never gets canceled. Games never get canceled.
Wind and clouds picking up here a little bit. There's Kaylee Thompson, a little spin and a save. Looks like it went off the post as well. But picked up by McGlynn, kind of, and it's going to be JMU's ball.
You looked at Darty. She looked in the net to see if it was there.
Yeah, she looked behind her. You're right. I thought it was getting there, too. Might have gone off her stick, then off the post.
It might have. The pipe has made a few saves today for both teams.
Less than 10 minutes here in the first half. JMU up 7-1 over the Phoenix. Nice passing there on the transition opportunity, and it's McDaniel once again. JMU takes an 8-1 lead.
So for the young lacrosse players that play attack that are watching this game today, what McDaniel does on that, textbook. All the time in the world, so many attackers force it, so many attackers just catch it and try to get out of their stick. She recognizes 1, 2, 3, 4 cradles before she buries it.
She knew she had the time.
And that's what you have to do. I love it. I love the patience on that, and I just like the recognition of knowing that you had that time, not to force anything.
McDaniel, second of the day. She has 5 draw controls as well thus far. She had two goals in each game over the weekend. So McDaniel giving James Madison an 8-1 lead over Elon here at Centera Park in Harrisonburg, Virginia. We'll be right back here on LAC Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? I'm Megan Triplet, and it's time for this week's edition of our Player of the Year Watch. This time, we have North Carolina's Katie Hogue on our docket. The junior attacker is coming off of a 1-goal, 6-assist performance, and the Tar Heels win over Syracuse. Katie Hogue finished the weekend ranked 2nd in Division I. She has 45 on the year, and something to note is that Katie just set the UNC singles season record in assists and points last season. Now, overall, her performance against Syracuse was her 4th game this season with at least 7 points, and the 2nd game this year with 6 assists. The junior's 45 assists leads the Tar Heels, and she's only 5 behind her UNC record total of 50 from a year ago, so it's safe to say that she is on pace to smash that record. Hogue returns to action tomorrow night for a game against the rival Duke Blue Devils. That's going to be a game everyone's going to be watching. So there you have it. Katie is this week's subject of our Player of the Year Watch. Find out who she has next been tuning into LAC Sports Network. Now let's send it back to the game.
Welcome back to Centera Park here in Harrisonburg, Virginia for our CAA Game of the Week here on LAC Sports Network. It's JMU and Elon, and it's an 8-1 Duke's lead right now. So JMU so far showing why they're the defending national champions and defending CAA champions.
They look impressive right now, and they look confident and playing really well. You never want to peak early in the season. This is about the time of year that you want to be able to say to your team, okay, you know, we're looking good, ladies. Our turnovers are minimum. We're winning the draws. We're burying our shots. We're starting to get healthy, and it's at the right time.
So it looks like Elon will take that draw, and looks like we have another penalty on top of that. So Elon looks like they'll take over here. Take one more look at what just happened off.
Well, it might have been a little bit of a push, but they blew the whistle on that because the goggles came off and the clock was running. So unless the official blows the whistle, the clock's going to keep moving.
I think they decided that as well. So looks like we're at even strength right now. Like you said, it rained about before the game started. It's been pouring and a little tough turf out there too. So as they call it, the old turf monster.
The turf monster. Love it.
Elon takes over anyway. So. And there from X looking over the middle, Mae McGlynn. Less than 9 minutes to go here in the first half. It's Quinn Daly, the captain, looking for her opportunity and looking in front, and it's sort of swept in, and that's a goal. Wow, Cammie Lynch with the one-timer. It almost looked like a hockey goal there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she hit it in or was it a pass that went awry. I'm not really sure.
Like when you're, at the point in hockey and the defender sort of shoots it in front and deflects it in. You're right. There had to be some sort of deflection there because it looked like the pass was going to the right.
That Elon goal was scored by number 9.
Daly did drop her stick. The announcer said it's Cammie Lynch who scored. So maybe everyone should just drop maybe they should both drop their stick and we'll figure out who actually got the goal there.
That was a pass into traffic, so I'm not really sure which stick it hit.
It was a deflection, and looks like at the end of the day it's a goal, and it is Cammie Lynch's goal as you can see the rain has started coming down. We had that little window, and the rain is coming down. Hopefully it's just a short little shower here, and the radar looks pretty clear, which is a good thing other than what's over us right now. Sometimes the radar doesn't detect everything. The forecast, for most of this game, scattered showers. You can see it's brightening up a little bit as it's raining, so maybe it's just a sun shower. We'll be okay. But there is a tornado watch in the area for this game until midnight in the area. Flood watch, all the 9 yards as a storm front moves through the mid-Atlantic, and the sun's back out. So maybe we'll see a rainbow. Who knows?
That's correct. This is a tough game for everybody. Officials aren't happy. Players aren't happy. Coaches are all bundled up.
Wet sticks.
the subs are all bundled up, and when coach calls their name, you just see them kind of shake their head like, I don't really want to take my sweats off.
Everything's cold. Yeah. Well, it's not cold out there. I mean, there's times when it's cold, but not this game, which is nice. Taking it hard here in transition and getting it through. It was Stanowich.
I wonder why, you had an open lane, you didn't go to goal. Now I know why. I was wondering what.
I think that's a senior doing what a senior should do in
Yeah,
that situation. Up 8-2.
Everybody wants the defender to score. Makes the bench go crazy.
She does have a goal and an assist this season.
1. Nice. And 85 caused turnovers.
Right.
Where it's the other way around on the other end, right?
Yeah. First team midseason All-American. We have a little scrum near the net there, and Elon comes out with it. Oh, nicely done there. That's Daly bringing it out.
Got out of traffic in a hurry, right?
Yeah. Smart kept her stick down away from everybody else and got Elon possession without giving it back up.
Right. What JMU doesn't want to do right now is start to force some shots, get away from the game plan that was working, and let Elon kind of scratch their way back into this game, because we all know in girls lacrosse, you can score goals in bunches. This is not an insurmountable lead.
Elon, looking like they're sticking most of the way to their game plan. They wanted to work the clock a little bit still, and they have the time to do that with 6 goals. They just got to stop JMU on the other end if they want to do that. That's Daly, who gets fouled on the way to the net, and she'll get a free position at the 8-meter mark on the left hash there.
And this is a good hash mark to get, because this is your strong side. So you're going to take a diagonal run to the cage. It opens up the whole cage for you.
Should watch Stanowich here. Looks like she'll probably be on the right side, on the stick side. She's so huge there, and you see her coming in, number 32. Shelly Claes-Baucom told us to watch that because she's been on the stick side for free positions all year long, and is always hitting the other stick and getting there, exploding off that 8-meter arc and providing a lot of trouble for teams in free position situations.
Well, it's so interesting because it is the biggest argument, or discussion, I should say, not an argument, is that the free positions, everybody thinks that they should be a slam dunk, but the defenders in college are so good that it's almost better to just foul and put them on the 8 meters.
Right.
Because you see right here, it's a much more difficult shot than allowing a player to go untouched or unhit at full speed at your goalie.
And when you have someone like Stanowich back there who can get the ball back very quickly, and Dougherty. And there is a shot and a save by DeFato. Looks like she saw it all the way through, so Elon takes over.
Absolutely, and then the last 2 shots that JMU has taken are all stick side high, and you're not going to beat DeFato that way.
That's why we talked about her at the beginning of the broadcast, because she will provide some stability back there, though we just see the turnover on the clear attempt. So JMU takes over once again.
That was a nice defensive play. It hit a JMU stick into the Elon player and went out of bounds. So Elon was technically last to touch it.
The first miss clear for either team today.
I'd like to see JMU get back to working the ball around, and getting a higher percentage shot.
JMU's offense averaging about a little more than 12 goals a game thus far in CAA play. Kelsey Reed looks like she got pushed there. See one more time, and JMU will take over after the infraction.
Well, you'll see. You'll see right here. I mean, it's a good thing that the wind died down, because she might have flew back another 10 yards.
Jillian Curran with the check.
I like to watch the offensive setups. You'll see right here, now they're setting it up for the dodge to the cage. Everybody takes the one-on-one. the attack starts in a clump on the right-hand side. They all shift to the left. As soon as the defense shifts too, you'll see the ball carrier try to go to goal, see if she can beat her one-on-one. When that doesn't happen, then they regroup and go back to start.
They've been getting into X and seeing some of those cutters come through the middle, and had a lot of success with that thus far. Less than 5 minutes to go here. JMU getting some shots off during this possession, but they have about 20 seconds on the possession clock. They find Haven, who had a couple of defenders swarm her as soon as she got the ball, and tries to get it back out with 10 seconds on the possession clock. They're going to have to hustle here with 5 on the clock, and they might just get into the corner and kind of put it out of bounds and give Elon the ball without the transition opportunity.
Yeah, they just
Exactly what they do.
Right, that's exactly right. They don't want to force anything, and I think Haven was looking for an obstruction of shooting space call on that, but the defense was already settled.
We do have a final elsewhere in the CAA. Delaware over Drexel, 13-11 in the women's game earlier today. As JMU takes over in transition after the cost turnover, it's Haven working a little 2-on-2 action. And a nice defensive play there by Palmer Voorhees to stop the transition opportunity.
I think that might have been a save by DeFada as well on that play. That was just all around. It was such a beautiful setup by JMU, and you thought it was just going to be an easy goal.
Dink and dunk it in.
Right.
Yeah.
Never is.
Elon takes over here, about 3:30 to go here in the first half. Sun shining now, which it wasn't a couple seconds ago. Make sure to stay tuned for our halftime show, our Lacrosse Now halftime show of highlights from the first half, and you can see more details about that final I just told you guys about. And T.D. Erlin, you might have heard of him on the men's side of things for Yale. He returns to Albany, the team he transferred from later on tonight, which will be a very intriguing matchup, a big Friday Night Lights game out there in the Capital Region. So all that coming up here at the half on LAC Sports Network.
Interesting that when you say Delaware beats Drexel, that's actually, I would think, good for Elon.
Yes, it is. It's Delaware's first conference win thus far there, so they moved to 1-3. Drexel falls to 1-3 as well. Elon in that 4th spot at 2-2. So now it's Elon at 2-2, Drexel at 1-3. So that gives Elon a little bit more of an advantage, especially going into against a team like JMU today. They've got less than 20 seconds on the possession clock to get a shot off as well. There's another foul with 15. They move quickly on the restart, getting it back out. Looking at it, 8 seconds on the clock, and they're gonna have to get something off. It's Lynch, and it goes wide, and it expires. Nice defensive possession there by JMU.
That really was, and Elon moved the ball around, just could not find an opening in that JMU defense.
Yeah, they really tried. They've tried to work it around as much as they could, and that JMU defense just suffocating. I think that was Lauren Duvall, I believe, who had that last line of defense there.
You know, Coach Balcom's going to really give them a hard time about the last 5 minutes of this half, and the unforced errors and the inability to take a higher percentage shot and make some more distance in this game.
Yeah, something we've been watching for JMU is turnovers this year. They only have 3 today, but they are last in the CAA at 18.25 turnovers a game. So something they've been trying to clean up despite their perfect record. I mean, at that point, you got to sort of look at the little things and clean those up as you go.
And again, yeah, like I agree with you. They're going to start to look at the bigger picture, and she's going to say, hey.
There's Thompson. She goes low and scores. Elon gets a goal with less than 2 minutes to go in the half, and it's an 8-3 JMU lead.
Elon is not going away. They're not going to go away. And if JMU continues to not do what they need to do on the offensive end, you're going to let this team chip away at you. So now in the last 2 minutes, which as a coach drives everybody crazy when you give a goal up, that's just a great take to the cage. And the JMU defenders were there, but they just didn't close the shooting space. You'll see they leave it open right there to split a double. And that's always a no-no when you're going to look at this film tomorrow.
Thompson, a freshman out of Bel Air, Maryland, and 23 goals on the season, 6 assists, and 29 points overall. Second on the team in the goals and points category. So as a freshman, really came on the scene. We talked about her Sports Center goal last week and getting sort of the limelight and really providing some more life into the program and giving it some more national recognition, which is huge, and especially for the future when you have an athlete like that who's come on so quickly for this young team that is Elon, to have a freshman come in and produce.
Bodes well for your future. I mean, you're going against the defending national champion, and you have no fear in taking it to the cage.
Especially against, like we said, all those defenders who've been there and done that, especially in the national championship game itself.
Exactly. Now it'd be interesting to see if you're JMU, do you just hold on to the ball, try not to make an error, or are you going to try to... I would imagine they would hold for the last shot.
5-goal lead for the Dukes with 40 seconds to go in the game, and the first half, rather. There is a cutter in the middle, and it is Knobloch, and she scores.
But they're saying that she went through the crease. She's looking at the official. I don't know if Miss Knobloch actually agrees with that one.
So that is no goal, excuse me. 20 seconds to go. That one waved off. Looks like Elon's going to try to get a good clear here to make sure JMU doesn't get anything cheap at the end of the half.
I'd like to see the replay on that. I know,
I know.
Mom and Dad do too. They're probably going to text me at halftime. Her parents are the Morristown High School coaches. And I know they're not happy right now.
I don't think Casey agreed with it either, so
No.
we'll be talking about that one at the half for sure. Maybe we'll get another look at it during our halftime show, which is on its way as our score at the half in Centera Park. The James Madison Dukes with the lead over Elon. We'll be back in a few minutes for the second half. But first, for an update on the day in college lacrosse, we send you back to the LSN Broadcast Center. Nice passing there on the transition opportunity, and it's McDaniel once again. JMU takes an 8-1 lead.
So for the young lacrosse players, she
about what we expected so far in this one. Moved up a little early because of the weather, but so far the defending national champs putting together a nice first half. Welcome back here for the Lacrosse Now halftime report. She's Megan Triplett. I'm Travis Eldridge.
Yeah, it's been kind of a not back and forth game, but it's been a dominant James Madison first half so far. And if you missed any of the highlights, how about we show them how James Madison got this huge lead?
Yeah, let's roll it. As we mentioned, rain, severe weather in the area, but first half, relatively calm weather-wise, not so much for the James Madison offense. Here, Logan Brennan finds Hannah Haven. She slices through the defense. It's 2-zip. Then Maddie McDaniel, all by herself. The one-woman show, and it's 4-0 Dukes. They lead 5-0 this one before Elon, the Phoenix, finally rising. Kaylee Thompson, pretty feed to May McGlynn. A couple of different goal scorers for the Phoenix in this first half. It's a 4-goal deficit, but Haven once again for JMU to Katie Tchaikovsky. She had 3 points in this first half. Dukes up 7-1. And how about more where that came from? Haven hands off for McDaniel. 1 goal and 2 assists for Haven in the first 30 minutes. A couple of goals for Maddie McDaniel. It all equals an 8-2 lead at the half for James Madison. Taking a look at some more of the stats from this one. On the other side, we mentioned Haven, McDaniel, both putting together nice first halves, as well as Tchaikovsky. But Paulina DeFata for Elon, kind of standing on her head. She actually made 7 saves in that first half.
Nice.
This thing could be even more different,
Right.
if not for Paulina DeFata in goal for the Phoenix.
Let's check out the first half stats of how we got here. When you look at shots on goal, as you mentioned, James Madison has 15. DeFata doing a pretty good job at saves. So she's had 7 saves in the first half alone. James Madison only 3 saves because they've only gotten 5 shots on goal, the Phoenix have. And then when it comes to the draw controls, James Madison winning that battle. They've got 7 over the Phoenix's 4.
Like the face-off in the men's game.
Yes.
You can't score if you don't have the ball.
You're right, exactly.
Edge to JMU so far. Elsewhere in the CAA, a couple of other games also moved up this afternoon due to weather.
Yeah, and both of these games are important when it comes to the conference standings because that competition is really, really heating up. Delaware, they're looking for their first conference win, and they're up right now. They just won. They won 13-11 over Drexel, so now they move on to 1-3 on the year. Drexel drops to 2-2 on the year. And when you look at Towson, you know, this battle is Towson and Hofstra. They both coming into this game tied in the conference, the 2-1. And Towson in the second half has a 1-goal lead over the Pride.
And Alyssa Perella in that game, setting the Hofstra single season points record already. There's still a couple more games left in the regular season. Perella, a special player. Meanwhile, a big one in the Big Ten last night. Number 6 Northwestern hosting 8th ranked Michigan. Northwestern up early, but Maggie Kane answering for the Wolverines. We're knotted up at 4 apiece early. We go back and forth early on outside Chicago. Selena Lasota. Man, she's good. We're knotted up 5 apiece. Later on, Northwestern's got a 1-goal lead, adding to it early in the second half. Lauren Gilbert, she had a season high of 5 points, extends the lead back out to 2, but back comes Big Blue. Kane gets knocked over, doesn't matter. We're knotted up at 7 apiece. Wolverines would take a lead, and adding to it, Molly Garrett. This was a chance for a statement win for Michigan. You could tell with the emotion. It's a 10-8 game, but Northwestern, another answer. Izzy Skane, an absolute laser. We're knotted up at 10 apiece. And there's more from the Cats. Lasota, beaten everybody, rolls back. She actually became the all-time leader in goals in Northwestern history in this game. Broke Shannon Smith's record, the Hofstra coach. That made it 11-10, and then the Wildcats roaring away at the end of this one. 14-11, your final. Wildcats solidifying their spot there in the top 2 in the Big Ten standings.
Really good game last night.
Yeah.
You know, let's now look ahead to a Friday night, because we have one of the most anticipated matchups of the season. TD Erlin making his return to the Capital Region as a member of the opposition this time.
Yeah, the Yale Bulldogs take on the Albany Great Danes tonight. A rematch of last season's national semifinal, of course, won by eventual national champion Yale, where Erlin actually spent his first 2 seasons at Albany, setting the Division I single-season record for face-off wins, ground balls, and face-off winning percentage. But now he's gone to the dark side, or the side in this case was wearing white in that game. Yale, pretty much the exact same thing numbers-wise for him this year, though. Leading the country, where the 4th-ranked Bulldogs winning 77% of his face-offs thus far. Going to be really interesting tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern start. What it's going to be like for him returning to the place where he really made his name in college lacrosse. Earlier this fall, he spoke about the decision to transfer from Albany to Yale.
Yeah, it was honestly probably the toughest decision of my life. I mean, I wasn't super happy there with, it just didn't seem like the right place. I loved lacrosse. I loved everything about it. I love the coaches. I think they'll do anything for their players, more so than anyone else in the country. The guys were great. Lacrosse atmosphere was unreal. I was looking more for a little bit of an educational experience, and that's kind of where it led me here to Yale. And it was a tough decision, and I can only thank Albany for everything they've done for me.
Yeah, well, obviously, the face-off game has become so crucial, and to have someone, as good as he is at it, depart the program after 2 years was certainly tough. And, but it's just one of those things. It's, Albany just wasn't really the great fit for him. And he had some other options. He talked about playing with his brother. And then obviously when he was released, Yale came into the mix. And, we wish him the best. We're going to see him at the end of the season. But, he's a great kid. He obviously did a tremendous job for our program. And our community, again, really embraced him, and he did a great job with all that as well, just dealing with the young kids and everything. But it's part of the game. Unfortunately, it happens, and we're ready to move on.
TD is exactly like every other guy that we have, and that's what was so awesome about getting him when he transferred in. It was, he grew up playing with Ben Reeves and talking to Ben about him, and they knew each other. Ben's statement to me was, Coach, he would just fit in really well with what we do and our culture and all that, and he's been lockstep with everything. He's up 15 pounds. He's way stronger. He's still fast. And he's doing great in school. He's you know, he's killing it right now. So he's a lot like everyone else. And, you know, it's kind of seamless in my opinion.
And we'll have the highlights of that Yale-Albany game tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on Lacrosse Now. You can watch on LacSportsNetwork.com or on the LSN app. That game is going to be so good.
So interesting. Look, it's not the blockbuster we maybe thought between two top 10 teams at the beginning of the season, because Albany has struggled at times, but still, so much intrigue there between Yale and Albany.
But you know what? If Albany beats Yale, they will be that team that we're going to be talking about.
We will certainly be talking about the Great Danes there. But now we're going to talk about the second half. We'll send you back to JMU.
Welcome back to Harrisonburg, Virginia, our CAA game of the week between JMU and Elon and Centera Park. JMU leading 8-3 at the half. Tracy Wiener and Tom Eschen along with you guys. And Tracy, we saw a concerted effort by JMU early in this one, and I think it worked out.
It was great. I mean, they really had a multitude of scorers. You couldn't really focus on one player. They were very patient on offense, driving to the cage, feet moving, shooting nice and low on Defada, which is, you know, very difficult for a goalie. Make those saves. I just thought that the offense was clicking on all cylinders in the first half for JMU.
Yeah, Maddie McDaniel and Rachel Mady with a couple goals apiece. And on the defensive end, we saw Elon with a couple goals late in that half, but the JMU defense playing well, too. I mean, they've got 6 caused turnovers today.
JMU defense is playing really, really well, but you have to give Defada some credit on the Elon side. She is keeping them in this game. JMU has 15 shots on goal, and she's almost at 50%. So anytime a goalie is at 50%, they're keeping you in the game.
So at a 5-goal game, 8-3 here to start the second half. What are you looking for here? Well, you know, how do we start this half, and who is it? Momentum early, I would assume.
I always go with the 3-goal swing. That's always, I say it to my own high school team. If you give up 3 goals, Elon scores the first 3 in this half. It's, you know, it's 8-6, and you have a little bit of a dogfight going on. And if JMU scores it, then we're at 11-3. And it's a whole different ball game.
It's a whole different game, yeah. So we will start here in the second half with the first free position. It's McDaniel going up against Peyton Stone, a freshman. And it's McDaniel winning it, and JMU. So they take over here to start 8-3. We get the second half here in Centera Park.
McDaniel's been dominating in the draw circle.
Yeah, she's at about 7 or 8 now so far, just tonight. Adding to her total this season, which is second in the CAA at a little more than 7.5 a game.
Oh, she's already beaten that mark today for sure.
JMU working some things around. Got a little bit of a different lineup in there than they had in the first half. See Marie Durkin in there, number 14, freshman midfielder. And they see a shot there by Haven. She's a familiar face, and she scores. 9-3. JMU starts pretty well here in the second half.
Did you see the power on that shot? It's a flick of the wrist, and before Defada could even react to it, it's already, you know, moving the netting in the back. I mean, you forget sometimes they make it look so easy, these players. Haven's just so talented and so strong, but it's just the wrist snap that she gets on this. You'll see right here, as soon as her hands right there are extended, it just lets it fly. And that is stick side high, but there was so much pace on that Defada couldn't even get her stick on that to save it.
Haven has such a presence out there. You know, you can just feel it when she has the ball, when she doesn't have the ball, and she definitely attracts a lot of attention as well. But even there, where it's just one-on-one, mano-a-mano, and she still gets the goal.
Well, the thing about it is that she, as the senior, recognizes the important parts of the game. So she knows we need to score. You know, this is a time where we don't want to give Elon any momentum in the second half. Give me the ball, clear out, let me do my thing.
You have another draw control here. Then it's this time won by Elon. So trying to take some of that momentum back.
One of the few draw controls that Elon's gotten this entire game.
JMU's been pretty dominant in the circle as they've been trying to do throughout the season, and a little bit more of a focus on that with McDaniel there in the middle this year. And they lost a lot of that from last year's team, and McDaniel's really helped fill that void.
when you graduate the caliber of players, and you and I had talked about this before the broadcast that JMU did, it's going to take a while for the team to truly come together and gel and see who steps up, see who gets comfortable. It's not going to happen in day 1 or day 2. You need it to happen in April and in May. And that is what's happening right now to JMU. That was great defense right there by Elon, forcing Haven to step out of bounds.
Haven was tiptoeing the line a little bit there and bit off a little more than she could chew. So Elon will take over and they're okay. They can pick the ball up and they'll start their offense. 9-3 game here. Tom Esch and Tracy Wiener with you guys. And what was once a stormy day here in Harrisonburg, but it's been quite nice for this game. Much better than we thought looking at the forecast. So hopefully, knock on wood, we'll get this one in and call it a day.
There's not even wind. I mean, it was so windy and rainy before, and now it just looks like regular, April showers, bring May flowers kind of weather pattern.
See Elon moving it around now with about half the possession clock rather. There's Cammie Lynch. JMU fans calling for some defense there and maybe got a little bit too much because there's an infraction and we'll have a free position on the 8-meter arc.
Now this is an interesting free position. It's a right-handed shot. You see the players move around. So that's what we talk about, the free positions. Now you're surrounded by JMU. So even though it's a foul, who gets the advantage when you're a team that can swarm so quickly? I often wonder.
Cammie Lynch there with Stanovich on the stick side, which is, as a defender, it's so tough. But it is Stanovich who gets the foul.
She was looking for a charge on that. Stanovich kind of looked around, and you can see her walking, kind of stomping a little bit. Not really obvious, but just
little huff and puff
there. Little huff and puff. That's a better way to put it.
There's Lynch this time taking the shot, and it's high. JMU has the backup, so they'll take over on the possession.
But as a defender, you pride yourself on that position. And the attack are the ones that create all the contact. They really do. They're running at you 100 miles an hour. You're already in your spot. So when you don't get that charge, you really get, you really get a little frustrated.
As JMU takes over on offense, we do have a note here. Paige Brown has taken over in goal for Elon. So taking over for DeFada, who had quite a few saves in there. But it is Brown who's been in now for almost half the game. She had a couple of decent games this year. She has made some appearances, had a good game against Virginia Tech in that loss, had quite a double-digit saves there. So Brown taking over here for Elon early. As JMU looks to go to work on offense, it's Haven, her third of the game. JMU takes a 10-3 lead.
I just like the energy that Haven's come out with in the second half. Just give me the ball, clear out of my way. Let me do what I have to do. They're going to need her as they get into the playoff run, the playoff stretch. Right now, what she's done in most of this season is given her mates a lot of confidence and a lot of touches. And she also recognizes, though, going into, May, that it's going to be, a lot of it's going to be on her.
And you talked about how motivated she was in the second half and coming out here. And we're talking with Shelly Clays-Bauckham earlier in the week and the motivation of this team. And the fact that they had to work on, as she put it, some ego management as the defending national champs during fall ball in the early spring and January, February, and saying, we are the defending champs, but some people are saying, well, look at all that we lost, but the players that are still there are saying, well, what about us? We're pretty good too, and sort of managing the expectations, and not only the national scale, but also the conference, and winning their third straight title at the CAA, which they have really put a lot on and used that as extra motivation.
As they should. You can't take one step without the other. And although, look, everybody wants to get to the Final Four, be a national champion, sometimes, you have to enjoy the journey and not just worry about the destination. And I think that's kind of where Shelly's head is at right now. And I don't blame her for that, because you never know when you finally break that ceiling and become a national champion, knowing that everybody's coming after you. They always say that you have that kind of that next season hangover type of mentality. And as a coach, it's probably your most difficult assignment to make sure that your team still stays motivated.
Yeah, and to think about, you know, the fact that they have been dominant in the CAA for so long, but they have made runs in the past, and she even brought that up when we were talking about her. She goes back in the early 2010, 2011 years. We went to the Elite Eight a couple years ago in a row, and we kind of set our sights on the Final Four. But we didn't get there because that's what our sights were on. And now they really focus on taking care of business, especially when it comes to these conference games, which she said can help them be a contender when it comes to the NCAA tournament.
Exactly. And I'm going to say that probably the only team that has that barometer set on national championships is Boston College.
Right, because of where they've been the last couple of
Correct.
years. Yeah,
And
they've been in that title game the last 2 years. They know their goal is to go in and win it because they don't want to be a team that loses it 3 years in a row.
Right.
But getting there is great, but winning it's a lot better.
Right, and what they bring to the field.
There's Charlotte Haggerty, who goes low and scores. The sophomore from Bel Air, Maryland, gives JMU the 11-3 lead.
And that's the first 3 goals of the half, and that's exactly what we're talking about now. Haggerty, and again, the placement of that shot is what is so important. And this is an 8-meter. Now look how she gets in. Okay, so the difference in the 8 meters, it's supposed to look like that. That's the assumption when you get an 8-meter and you're a coach. Okay, we're going to score every time. Perfectly placed shot, bounces it in. The defenders can't get to you in time. But that just goes to show you how JMU's defense is so quick and so strong, because it really almost looks like an advantage to them.
Right, on the other end of the field.
Correct.
That's right. JMU has a new goalie as well. It's Ellie Harmeyer. A couple of 3 appearances this season, taking over for Molly Doherty, giving Doherty maybe a little bit of a half a day off if the score stays this way at 11-3. So Harmeyer, senior out of Millersville, Maryland, Severna Park High School. 3 games this year. We do have another stick check. We'll take a look and see what happens from this one.
Yes, I'm curious as to whose stick they're checking at this point.
Had some interesting, already in the first half we had an interesting stick check. Hannah Haven does not have a stick with her, so I'd assume that it's hers.
And I would too. And a lot of times on the on the top goal scorer, you want to make sure that, you know, her stick is legitimate. The sticks are created in such a way now that I don't really see how they're ever going to be illegal again. The way the side walls are set up, the way the stitching is set up and whatnot, I really do feel as though it's really difficult for your stick to be illegal anymore. They're all illegal.
Right.
They all have a fake pocket. They all, I mean, I remember 20 years ago, the sticks looked nothing like this. You couldn't get the power on the shots that you get. You couldn't keep the ball in the strings like you do now. And yet they're never illegal because of the sidewalls, the way that they're structured.
Right. Science. Science has made a big impact on it,
yes,
hasn't it?
Kelly Amante and Gary Gate. I think we can thank those two.
So the stick was good at the end of all that. So we'll take over here without 25 minutes to play. JMU up 11-3 and getting their draw control.
And I tell you what, that being said, I don't know much about the stick because I never really played the sport. I didn't have it when I was growing up. So I just laughed. My daughter plays with a all mesh stick and loves it. I don't really understand, you know, why it's so much more better. But
why,
you know,
how, but
yeah,
all that, and
but she loves it.
You see the results.
Correct.
That's all that matters, right?
Listen, if my kid's happy, I'm happy. She's a teenager.
See Brennan working to try and get inside, and the pass is a little too high, so Elon will get it in transition and try to cut into this lead a little bit.
It was a nice defensive stand by Elon. They really stepped up on that instead of letting the attacker get to goal untouched. And when the pressure came and she had to get rid of the ball, that's when you saw the unforced error.
Shannon Horan, who was the one who picked up the ground ball and took it over the midline, and senior, she's a 4-year starter for Elon. She's been, you know, a solid player for them from the beginning, just a leader for a lot of those younger athletes on that team. As some of those younger scorers take over here on offense. Like they said, trying to focus on some of those little things when the game sort of gets to this point, and just being, you know, fundamental and working on those sort of things. This is the only game this weekend, so this is all they have to hang their hat on. They'll play William and Mary coming up next weekend. Finish their CAA schedule and finish their regular season as a whole with Coastal Carolina, the 28th. There's an interesting try by Thompson there, trying to go low, but
She's going to get a yellow card on that.
Yeah.
Again, that's dangerous propelling, it's called. The other one
Yeah.
was a dangerous follow-through. This one's dangerous propelling. The defense has position. You try to do a little trick shot, but instead you hit the defender who has already established her position.
Emma Johnson right there in her face. Went off her leg. It looks like she's okay, though. She was asking for the call, and she got it.
Well, they stepped up on the defensive end there and swarmed once again. And when that happens, and you establish that position, Thompson, tries to make something out of nothing, but unfortunately ends up with a yellow card.
Yep. So JMU will go a man up here, up 11-3. They'll work it around and try and get a good possession and a good shot. Still important at this point of the game, and sort of to keep not get sloppy. I think Shelley doesn't want that to happen in these last 20 minutes of the game.
No, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You can't get sloppy. You want to take advantage of these opportunities. You want to make sure that your team understands when they're man up, what play they're running, what's going to be effective, who gets the ball.
Working the possession clock a little bit. And over the middle, and it's a goal there for JMU. It's Daria Lucchese who scores 12-3. They convert on the man-up opportunity.
And that was perfect, and it reminds me of what happened in the beginning of the game, catching the ball on the dead run and just slicing through the defense. And what Lucchese does is she shoots low on this one. It's a bounce shot. She's very patient. You'll see right here. Here comes the feed. It's a perfectly shot, and then goes down low, gets a goalie moving.
Yeah, we saw Lucchese try to work a lot to get a goal earlier in the first half, trying to use some of her quickness to dodge, really, and here gets it off the catch, which, as we saw, and we talked to Coach about, Shelley Clays-Bockham, is they want to be a little more versatile when it comes to that. You want to be able to dodge and catch and shoot, and I think you just saw that there.
You did, and that's a great feed by Knobloch. And that's, as a freshman, when you're contributing to the team, to the defending national champions, and you're out there doing your thing, that's awesome too, because you're going to need all hands on deck as you get into the playoffs. So that's a great feed and a nice finish.
Yeah, these freshmen have been fun for JMU, and we talked so much about who left, but some of these freshmen, and they kind of have brought some more spirit, and not that there wasn't spirit, but a little bit more fun, more of a humor side to the team. And
well, I'm surprised because some of them are from Morristown, so humor and fun, I don't really know how that works. But no, I'm just kidding.
Well, between Mady and Knobloch and Lizzie Fox, those three have really provided a punch, not only on the field, but off the field, too.
It's great, and it's when you want to change the culture of your program or keep the culture where it's at, which Shelley's really into that. Coach is one of those, and she's fun-loving herself. I mean, she was at Hofstra for years, as you know, so we got close with her on the island, and just so much fun all the time. And JMU is just a great college town to go to, and for them to be able to bring some freshmen in when you've already graduated that core group of seniors, you're going to have the next wave coming out now. But when they embrace the younger players, that's how you know that you've changed the culture of your program.
And there's a word that she said a lot, especially in our talk this week with Shelley and I, as value. She's talked so much about wanting her players to feel valued, and I think that's so important. That word for a program, it's huge. And as an athlete, you want to feel like you matter. You're important, and to do that and to realize that as a coach is important.
You're coming to the national champion. Many of you play at the highest level in high schools and club level. You do bring value to the table. You wouldn't be going to a college Division I program if you didn't have lacrosse value. But the fact that the coach preaches it.
There's a shot low and score for Kate Mackel, a freshman. They're talking about some young players, but this one is for Elon as they get on the board for the first time in the second half. It's 12-4.
Snuck that one in there, but it was a low shot stick side. So what happens as a goal, you have to get down on that and try to move from stick high to stick low. Just misses. You'll see right here.
Yes, just took a little step, didn't give the defense a chance to really get in there.
That goalie was on that, though, without a doubt. I mean, right there, saw it. Just couldn't get her stick into that position to save it.
Hairmeyer's a good goalie. She was on the CAA All-Rookie team in 2016, but, Dougherty's just been so great sort of taking over that job. But Mackel gets the better of her that time. So a nice goal there by the freshman, her 7th of the year, to give Elon a goal here in the second half.
They just have to score in some bunches. You can't score one and give up 3, one and give up 3.
That's where the draw control really comes into play.
Correct.
and that's something that they really wanted to do. They're 6th, Elon, in the CAA, and draw control as a game. But JMU in 2nd, so you know that you've seen that really come to fruition this afternoon. Tom Eschen, Tracy Wiener with you here. About a little more than 20 minutes to go here in Centera Park in Harrisonburg. It's JMU 12, Elon 4, and it is JMU who goes on to win that draw control, doubling up Elon thus far, 12-6, as you see there.
It's just coming down to my favorite part of the lacrosse season. You're getting into all the tournament play, you know, the AQs, all the senior days are pretty much done across the college landscape. And now you're just thinking about playoff time, and it's just so fun to be a part of.
Lashing over the middle, but they're getting deflected there. Nice job by Leah Zajura, who gets in the middle of that shot. Eli will take over. Quick possession there from JMU. Quicker than we've seen, at least.
So I would think that it's this weekend and next weekend are the last 2 weekends of the college season, and then we get right into the tournament play.
Yeah, and some teams starting their tournaments next week.
Next weekend.
ACC as well. So depending on the conference and things like that, some still have some conference games to play, and then they get into their tournament. But ACC tournament starts next week, and that should be a fun one. We got teams like Boston College, North Carolina, Syracuse, some of the best teams. You know, Virginia, Notre Dame. I go on and on.
Yeah.
You know, but that'll be a fun one. It'll be interesting to see how BC, as dominant as they've been, will do in that sort of tournament atmosphere once again.
And then you wonder how many of those teams are hoping to get in on an at-large, and how many that they're going to take with the Ivy League being so strong this year as well. The Big Ten is always strong, and then everybody else, you know, tries to get in there.
Been a fun year so far. I've had a lot of good headlines, a lot of good storylines. As always.
Always.
Once you hit this time of year, as you said, Tracy, it's fun.
Well, it is. I'm curious to see who ends up winning the Hofstra-Towson game as well. That's going to have an impact on the CAA. All these games now that are going on are really exciting.
For an update, for those of you curious about that Hofstra-Towson game, it's 10-9 Pride there with about 15 minutes to go on the island in Hempstead. Hofstra leading. So both those teams are 2-1 in conference play. Definitely some seeding implications there. They could just play each other, which it might be.
Well, they could.
So that could be a preview of the first round or the
Sure.
semifinal round, depending on what happens, shakes out the rest of this conference season.
Just shows you how much parity there is.
CAA always competitive. JMU looking for their 3rd straight title, and that's something that was mentioned. Hasn't been done since Towson did it in the early 2010s here. That consistency as a program, something that Shelly Claes-Bacham is pretty proud of. And she said other programs can have that breakout year, but sustaining that is what's really something that she's hoping and has continued to do looking forward.
I agree. You know, we had a goal circle violation here, so the ball's going to be a turnover, going back to Elon. But to work so hard to get to where JMU is now, you just don't want to go and I don't want to say backwards, because you're never going to go backwards. But what you want to do is just always be competitive, always be in that conversation.
There's the shot and the score for Elon. It's Summer Larice.
Larice makes a great shot. It's just a catch and fire.
Elon getting a couple goals in a row here in the second half, making it interesting. I mean, like we said, they want to be a little more consistent in their focus and their play, and especially in these moments is where it really comes to fruition.
Well, you know, you're wide open in the middle of the 8-meter like that. It's you know, that's just for an attacker. Your eyes get really, really big, and you want the ball. And just did a great job of finishing. As an attacker, what you want to do is finish. That's the expectation from the coaching staff, is that you finish.
Yeah, Larice part of a group for Elon that Coach Hexter says they have a few different athletes that have been sort of coming on, and really hoping they could break out. And she did that, especially last game against Delaware with a hat trick, and she's seeing her score again today. So as a junior, another good step toward next year in her senior year, being able to step up in different situations against a team like JMU.
Absolutely, and what we're saying from, you know, what we're hearing from Coach Hexter as well is that he's so excited for next year and the year after. Not that he's not, you know, into this season as well, because he is, but he understands that he's going to be loaded for a while. And the experience that they're getting now is going to translate into year 2 and year 3.
He loves this team. He said it. He goes, I love this team so much. They're so much fun. And yeah, we've taken some lumps thus far, but like you said, the future is really bright with some of the young athletes, with
No
sophomores
question
and
about it.
freshmen. And I think that's something to be excited about. And no
Well,
matter
and as
what
long as
it
they understand
goes
that
on.
message as well. You just have to get your players on the same page as that, understand the message. Hey, look, maybe we can surprise some people this year, and that's going to be amazing. And then next year and the year after, what we do in the off season and what we do fall ball, and people are going to have to start to take notice of you ladies and the hard work that you're putting in. And once they buy into that thought process, sky's the limit.
We have another free position here on the 8-meter arc, so it's Kaylee Thompson, the freshman, with another opportunity.
We've said her name a lot today. She's had a great game.
Yeah, she's been all over the place, looking for her second goal of the game, and just goes wide.
And did just miss the cage on that.
You're looking for Molly Doherty in the cage. Ellie Hairmeyer. Hairmeyer is taking over here in the second half. 12-5 JMU. Tom Eschen, Tracy Weiner here for our CAA game of the week. Just a couple weeks left here of our CAA game of the week schedule. Nice spin move and just pushed out, and we will have a free position. Reed Durkin, the freshman midfielder for JMU, with an opportunity.
See here, she's coming in. There's her hands in the right spot, but as soon as she puts her stick out like that, she gets it into the sphere.
There it. Durkin just gets tipped and goes over the top of the crossbar. And it's Elon ball. All right.
I'm wondering if they feel that the shot went off of a JMU play, but a shot is a shot, and I thought she was closer to the line, but in the official's determination, Elon gets the ball.
So Elon will take over. They've scored the last couple in this one, 2 in a row, so looking to string some goals together. After JMU scored the first 3-4 goals of the half there. There is JMU taking over.
They're going to shoot it because the goalie's not in the cage.
And there's the goal, a long one there from Haven. She took the empty net and scored pretty easily.
She needed to score on that because as a senior leading goal scorer on the team, if you miss an empty net, oh boy, it's a long night for you.
Taking advantage of that opportunity for her 4th of the game, matching her jersey number.
Center net too.
You practice those much, Tracy, or is that just
no? You don't really
feel?
practice those. You just have to assume that your senior, leading goal scorer is gonna bury that. They wanted the feeder to actually take that shot, I think, but she was being smart and safe and giving it to her goal scorer.
Yeah, Brown, the freshman, out of the cage on the clear attempt, and couldn't get back there fast enough.
No, and I do like bringing the goalie out of the cage. I'm not adverse to that, but on that particular play, you just have to make sure that as the goalie, once you're up past the 50, that that you make a perfect pass getting into the offensive zone.
A little bit of a scramble there, trying to get it for Brennan. She does after the infraction. JMU takes over. There's Kelsey Reed getting it to X. Oh, nice dive to the net, and the backhand goal is a good one from Linnea Hughes.
Haven't seen a reverse shovel shot in years.
How about that?
I'm not really sure if there was any other shot she could have taken. They're dancing, having a good time.
Her first goal of the season, so I think she wanted
her.
to put a little extra into that one, and she saw the opportunity and she took it. I like that.
It's the way the defense collapsed on her. She didn't really have another shot. You can see, where was she going to put it? You weren't going to stop and go right-handed. You weren't going to turn around again. So right here, she's got her back to the cage, and the defense is starting to head towards her. So.
And we do have a timeout on the field by Elon right now as JMU takes a 14-5 lead. It's 9 goals. Elon's going to talk some things over here in Harrisonburg, Virginia. With the timeout, we'll be right back here on LAC Sports Network.
Welcome Welcome back into the Ellison Broadcast Center. I'm Megan Triplet, and we'll get you back out to James Madison and Elon, but let's get you caught up on another CAA game that just wrapped up on the women's side. Delaware and Drexel, this went final. Delaware won 13-11. The Blue Hens scored the final 2 goals of the game to win it all. Sydney Rasa scored Delaware's first 5 goals and finished with 6 on the day. Mia DiRogerio had 2 goals and 3 assists. And Delaware gets their first win in the conference, so now they're 1-3 on the year. And for the full highlights of this game, make sure to keep watching after James Madison and Elon concludes for our post-game show. And like always, at 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll be back for our edition of Lacrosse Now. We'll have all the highlights from today on the men's and women's side and tell you what happened between Yale and Albany. That game is going to be a good one tonight. So make sure you're tuned in tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Tom Esch and Tracy Wiener here back with you from Centera Park in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And you see number 4, Hannah Haven, and she's having another great day. 4 goals, 2 assists for 6 points. Preseason All-CAA, preseason honorable mention All-American, Tewaaraton Award watch list. The list goes on and on as the leading scorer for this team.
Well, and she deserves it. I mean, worked so hard, and when you lose so much talent around her like she did herself, the fact that JMU is still undefeated in their conference, hasn't missed a beat, and she's been such a great leader for the younger players. You can see that she's still out there having fun, and the respect that they have for her is unbelievable.
Looks like she's going to get a much-deserved rest here as we hit the 16-minute mark here in the second half with JMU, a 9-goal lead as we take that first draw control, and looks like it's going to go JMU's way once again.
Yeah, there's a new draw specialist, or is that still McDaniel in there?
It's Marie Durkin taking over there, the freshman.
So that's nice. Everybody getting a little bit of action now. One more goal, and they'll go into running time. So Coach Balcom's really making a concerted effort to let everybody have an opportunity today.
I've always thought it was good to mix, too. Mix some of your leaders with, and there is the nice pass and goal by one of the leaders. It's Kelsey Reed, the junior captain, scoring for JMU to make it 15-5.
It's just a beautiful setup. I like the energy right now that James Madison has that on the field. They look like they're having a great time. They're distributing the ball well. Everybody's getting touches. Such an array of goal scorers for them.
Yeah, see the pass there coming from Katie Tchaikovsky, a sophomore, and who's done a lot for this team, and then Reed finishing nicely once again for JMU.
And that's just a great, and that's set up. You don't even see that happening up there, but, the pick that starts up top that allows everybody to kind of move, it's the little things that go unnoticed. And they don't really end up in the book, but when you look at Elizabeth Murray had set that pick up there, and when you see that happening, comes around the screen, Tchaikovsky just feeds it perfectly, and when everything works in place like that, the way the coach draws it up, everybody just feels good.
Yeah, Reed's someone who's really stepped up with some of those injuries I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, with Hallie Dunkel being out, and she's scored in every game since Hallie Dunkel's been out. So you can see someone like Reed being that next person up mentality and really flourishing in that role.
Correct. All these girls are so talented. I was looking at the
nice pass over the middle. It is high. Elizabeth Murphy there with the shot.
When you look at the pedigree of the schools that they came from, they're all, these girls are so used to playing at the highest level.
A lot of them winning, too. You see a lot of state champions among these college athletes. Durkin with the dodge, trying to get in the middle. 40 seconds here on the possession clock. JMU up 15-5, so the game clock is continuously running while it's a 10-goal lead for JMU. Lucchese looking to get through the middle, and that's deflected.
And that's going to be a yellow card as well.
Yep. Our next CAA game of the week is tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern in Amherst. 15th ranked UMass at 2-1 in conference play, hosting Fairfield, so looking for their first conference win. That's tomorrow, Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern time only here on Lax Sports Network. So Lucchese will sit down with the yellow card, and Elon will go a man up, trying to dig into that double-digit deficit.
Yeah, you just can't, turn and fire when the defense is on you like that. And sometimes as an attacker, you have the ball in your stick, you just want to get rid of it. The clock's running down. You feel like your hands are free, and you're not really paying attention to what the defense is doing at that point.
Lucchese, a sophomore, so still sort of learning those ebbs and flows of the game.
Yes.
Oh, a little behind the turnaround and shoot there from Quinn Daly. Goes wide. Trying to be creative. Thompson digging in. Simpson, they're working it around quite a bit right now. Nice catch inside, and a pretty smart move there by Kate Mackel to take it out. Oh, thought she had it in front right there, Larice. Half of the possession clock is gone. There's a nice shot and score by Cami Lynch. 15-6. Elon trails by 9.
That was a nice take. The center was open up a little bit, came across the body. Lynch was coming to her right and pulls it to her left, and makes it just a beautiful shot.
Lynch's second goal of the game.
See here, she's going to the right and then comes to the left. And again, Hairmeyer's right there, but the pace on that shot just couldn't corral it.
Yeah, a lot behind that one.
Yep.
Lynch, a junior from Red Bank, New Jersey. A couple nice games this year. 5th multi-goal game. 3rd on the team in points this year as a junior. The weather cooperating nicely here with 12 minutes to go, which has been very nice. We weren't really sure. We were watching the weather and saying, well, it might be a little, that window might be interesting, but at this point, now that we are almost 48 minutes into the game, it's almost an official game, so that's a good thing.
Without a doubt. And smart, they moved the time up, getting out in front of the weather. No need for anybody to play in anything that's, you don't want to see dangerous because it's just rain. But if they can play in weather like this, why risk it and have to play maybe in a downpour or have the game completely stopped? I mean, we saw a couple of weeks ago in the Maryland Northwestern game, it just changed the whole momentum, the lightning strike.
Yeah. Maryland ended up running away with that one, and I don't think Northwestern scored when they went indoors.
No, they did not. They were held scoreless after the lightning.
See, Elon, only with those 9 shots on goal, they definitely wanted that to be up in the 20s and even 30 to really know if they had a chance today. And you can see that JMU defense just has been suffocating, not allowing those opportunities.
Yeah, I would have thought that in the 20s and 30s was a bit of a reach against JMU.
15-6, JMU leading Elon here in our CAA game of the week. Tough pass over the middle with a couple of red shirts in there. Fight for the ground ball, picked up. Simpson, so she got fouled as she raised her stick into the air.
Yeah, there was a push from behind. You see that pass gets forced into the middle like that, that's how you know you have a young team. Your veterans know not to kind of force that passing, because even if it gets caught, there's nothing you can do with it because you're swarmed.
Simpson will take it from the center. Passes it out, knowing how fast they've been.
I was just going to say, the respect of that's all to the respect of JMU's defense.
It's Thompson looking for it. Deterred. Even some of the subs now in on defense doing a nice job. We have a shooting space looked like on Elon there, or on JMU rather.
Quinn Daly's going to get an 8-meter on this one.
Sophomore captain. She was a defender actually in high school, but they liked her as a midfielder. Looks like we have, yep, she's going to retake this one once again after the penalty.
The fans weren't happy with that. They thought maybe she kind of just slid into first, it looked like. But I think she had a little help.
Stanowich once again not happy with the call.
No, not at all, but I do think she had some help.
Man, that JMU defense on those, like you mentioned earlier, Tracy, it's something to watch. And like you said, always thought of as more of an advantage, but When you have a defense like that, it makes it a lot tougher.
It does, and it almost becomes part of your strategy to
Simpson over the middle, shot and scored by Mackel.
that shows you Elon's future right there when you look at that play. Mackel's a freshman who finishes, but the pass comes in, and that might have come in from Simpson, the senior. I'm not sure who makes that pass right here. But she takes Simpson takes a hit, comes off of it, and still makes a great pass. So when you look at that, you have Thompson touches the ball, that's a freshman. Gives it to the senior in Simpson, who then dumps it off to freshman Mackel. That's what you're looking for. Everybody to start to get comfortable, learn how to play the game. Simpson's the one that, when it gets a little chaotic, you give it to your senior, because she can control the ball. But when you give the freshman that kind of confidence, it's unbelievable.
A nice response here by the Phoenix, who called the timeout after going down 15-5. The clock was running. They've scored the last 2 goals, so really settling down, and whatever Josh Hexter told them worked. And even in this part of the game, with, like you said, some of those young players, they've responded. What you want to see?
Absolutely, and they're excited to play a game like this. You know, you might think, oh, they're probably, oh God, they're playing JMU, but they probably circled this game on their schedule. Playing the national championships, the national champions, in your conference. That's exciting for any player because every player dreams to be holding the hardware.
Elon still hoping to have that spot in the CAA tournament as well, so hoping to use this game maybe as a springboard, so to speak, or just learning some of the lessons from this one to take up against William & Mary coming up next weekend.
Such a huge game for them.
Yeah, with Drexel losing today, that William & Mary game just became pretty big. If they win that one, pretty much they can get in with that 4th spot, depending on what happens between the 2 and 3. And Hofstra and Towson right now tied at 11. About 5 minutes to go there in Hempstead. So interesting afternoon going on here in the CAA.
Right, I would imagine that the 2 of them are just kind of fighting for seating position, 2 or 3, if you're going to wear your dark jersey or your light jersey in the tournament.
And with all this talk about the CAA, Wednesday nights on Lax Sports Network, it's CAA Press Pass. We'll bring you all the latest news, notes from around the conference, and prepare you for the biggest games of the week. CAA Press Pass on Lax Sports Network every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. As Elon takes over, looking for their 3rd straight goal, so looking to string some more together here.
Well, I like the fact that they just keep moving the ball, keep working at it, keep seeing what works, going to goal.
And there is the shot, and a nice save there by Hairmeyer low. Kick save and a beauty. Stopping that run, at least for the time being.
Nice transition clear there for JMU.
That's Ava France, another defender who's moved up to the midfield, and she does take the shot. Save there by Brown. High to high.
Right, and I'm sure that when she comes off the field later, coach is going to say, I love your energy. I love the fact that nobody came on you, so you kind of took it to goal, but we just played defense for an inordinate amount of time. Might want to, I'm not one of those. I like a fast-paced offense. You get it, you have a fast break, you go. But there are certain times in the game where you got to give your middies and your defenders a little bit of a breather.
So Elon will take over once again after that quick shot.
That was a great save. I mean, you score on that, and it kind of takes the momentum out of Elon's sails.
Simpson over the middle, looking and finding Lariz. Brings it back out. Elon still working through their offense. They haven't rushed too many shots here in the second half either, despite the deficit.
Well, it's hard to rush a shot against.
That's true. There's Thompson, who rushes to the net and scores. Kaylee Thompson with the goal, the freshman from Maryland. Elon with 3 in a row.
Thompson makes a great move to the cage, knows she's probably going to get hammered along the way, and just keeps on going. And that is the toughest lesson for an attacker, is to know that from, February until May, you're going to be bruised from shoulder to forearm. And, you just have to learn how to deal with it. Take a hit and keep on going.
Well, she's someone Josh Hexter says doesn't shy away from anybody. So what a better example than going up against JMU and do that kind of a goal. Pretty impressive there from Thompson. scoring her second of the game, 3 points on the afternoon. You see the CAA Rookie of the Week back in February. Definitely making an impact so far for this team and will for years to come in this conference.
Absolutely. So much to build on, so much to be proud of as a coach. You know, and again, the energy of Coach Extra when he talks about his team. He just he'll be just as sad as the girls when the season's over and he doesn't get to see them every day.
There's always that postseason blues, they might want to call them, right? Because you spend every day together, you know, and it's a bond that you love about sports, especially in team sports. It's nice. Bringing me back to my old days on the football field, Tracy.
Well, I remember, you know, I got to interview Shelly the minute they had won, and she was just so proud of the graduating group because she loved them. I mean, she was happy for them, and you know, Remsburg, Guardian, Warden, Kerrigan, that whole group took her. They were just hard-working lunch pail kids, and that's her style.
Yeah.
And for them to come out on top when really nobody expected it. Everybody thought it was going to be one of the other three. Nobody would have been surprised.
Yeah.
Nice save there.
Looks like there was the delayed penalty there on the shot. So it looks like Elon's going to get it back and have an opportunity here once again.
You'll see right here. I mean,
Lynch.
But Lynch is in the crease, and that should have been called, and that's something that, you know, you're not allowed to step on. In the boys' game, I think if you're allowed your stick follow through.
There's the whole dive. Oh man, Tracy, you don't want to get into the whole the whole dive thing. The dive is fun, but it is it's a conversation. I'll tell you that right now. It's been fun to see it back in the men's game this year, but there's been some instances where you're like, well, I don't know if that's the rule. Just a little bit of the back and forth. Whereas, like you say, in the women's game, you know if they're in the crease. Yeah.
Yeah, if your foot's on the line, it's no good. You know, women aren't good living in the gray area. You know that.
You're right or wrong. I've got 3 sisters and a mother who can attest to that. There's the Rees going at the net.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my friends from New Jersey to text me back. Oh, they call my kid on the crease, but not.
That was you, not me. I didn't say anything
picking on the Knobloch kids.
I don't want New Jersey mad at me.
The officials probably worked for them at one point, I remembered.
JMU brings it over, and they'll settle it down as they get into their set. Up 7. Elon with a little bit of a push here in the last 15 minutes of the game or so after JMU got that 15-5 lead and looked like they were going to sort of coast away with the clock running. But Elon with a nice surge here in the last 15 minutes. JMU is going to continue to look to score now. There is the take to the net and the goal. It's Lizzie Fox, the freshman from North Rockland, scores.
Well, that's good because she's been out for, you know, a couple of games injured, and now you come back in and you're able to put the ball in the net.
Yeah, Fox didn't play all last weekend against Hofstra and Drexel, and Coach Backham wasn't really sure what her status or availability would be, but she has had some time today and taking advantage of it with the goal. And she's someone who's really made an impact as a freshman for this
Without
team.
a doubt, you want her healthy come playoff time for sure. And for a lot of reasons, you know, number one, because she's a contributor, but number two, because she needs that experience moving forward. When everybody else graduates, you want her to already have playoff experience in her back pocket.
Yes, took some contact there and was able to get to the cage and score, so showing that she can still do it, maybe despite not being 100%. She might be 100%, but after not playing a couple games with a weekend, looks like she's shaking that rust off a little bit. Enjoying your time with their teammates on the sideline as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're all like, you know, they compare bruises, they compare plays, they compare everything. It's
battle scars, right?
Battle scars.
Battle scars.
If you come off the field and you're clean, your teammates are going to make fun of you.
McDaniel, I believe that's her 11th draw control of the afternoon.
Dominant.
What an impact she makes in there. You know they would try to get it done in a different way, but with her in there, I'm sure that gives Shelly Clays-Backham a little bit more confidence and faith. Makes her rest a little bit easier.
Yeah, well, it's part of the game that she doesn't have to improve moving forward.
Because last year, as we mentioned, it was more of a collective effort. McDaniel was still in the roster. She still started in that national championship game, which was in a little bit of a different role. Closing in on 5 minutes to go here in Centera Park, Harrisonburg, Virginia. Thrilled to say there hasn't been any weather delays. We're doing all right with a tornado watch right now in the area until about midnight. A little bit of a scrum around the front of the crease there and picked up by Brown, and they'll get a transition opportunity with the wind blowing some plastic there. You know it rained because we got plastic around the camera.
Right, and this is part of the new rule that I'm not a fan of. So you used to have to stop at the whistle. Now you don't. You see they had a 1v2. There was nobody down there. So they had like a 3-on nobody at one point, and because the whistle blows, you take that foul, which is smart, and you allow your defense now to collapse in and take away the entire advantage. I think we changed the rules too much in girls lacrosse.
I think the rules of lacrosse, I think across the board, really something that everyone wants to see a little bit more uniform. And you see some coaches and players even speak out about how they just want everyone to be on the same page.
Well, we're not even in high school and college.
Right.
I mean, that's my biggest issue. I'm supposed to prepare my girls for the next level, and several of the major rules are not in the high school. The fact that defenders can't still run through the crease in high school is ridiculous. It's been in college for over 3 years.
You look for them transitioning from high school to college, and there's a learning curve there for some of these athletes. It's a challenge. You're right. It is a challenge. JMU with a man up with Emmy Fernandez with the slash. So they'll look to cash in and grow that lead to 9. About 4 minutes to go here in the second half, and looking over the middle, that pass and congestion, but the shot was stopped there. Knobloch with the opportunity, but Brown, the freshman, gets the stop.
Casey picks up that ball in traffic and tries to make something happen, and it just didn't.
Brown came out of the cage there, so JMU pounced down her, and it looks like Elon's going to take over.
I thought she ran into her own player at first, but I guess
there was a little bit of everything there.
Everybody had some contact on that.
All right, we'll clear things up as Elon will burn off the penalty here. About 3:30 to go. JMU, with a win, if things go the way they're going right now, would clinch the top seed in the CAA tournament. So they'd be the number. They are hosting anyway, so they're the top seed. And now today they would clinch at least a share of the CAA regular season title. So JMU looking like they're getting back to that #1 seed like they have been here for the CAA tournament.
So you have a chance in a season then to win 3 different titles, correct? So you can be the league champ,
regular season champion, conference champion, and national.
Right.
Not to mention getting to the championship weekend, which I feel like for a lot of programs is another little notch. You get a trophy for that, don't you? I think, right? You get a trophy.
Everybody gets a trophy. You should only get a trophy if you know.
We do have a final elsewhere in the CAA. Towson coming back to beat Hofstra 13-12. Big win there for the Tigers, who, after losing to JMU in their first CAA game, have really come back as they improved to 3-1, now second in the conference, and they're sort of flipping spots there with Hofstra, who falls to 3-2. So we'll get you some of those highlights later on tonight, probably after the game, and on Lacrosse Now as well.
It's a tough loss for Hofstra, but it also shows Hofstra that they belong. When you play Towson that competitively, you play JMU that competitively.
2 one-goal games for Hofstra from between JMU and Towson.
You're assuming that you're going to be the 3 seed going into the CAA tournament, and so at that point, what happens is we have another card here. Casey Knobloch's gonna get a yellow.
Yeah, Alyssa Perella in that game had 7 goals in the loss for Hofstra. So
she's so good.
Interesting to see how different teams have sort of approached her, and as one of the best scorers in the nation, it's pretty interesting.
It's a tough check on that.
Yeah, Quinn Daly ended up on her stomach there.
Well, and I only think that there was a yellow card on that because you never went for an actual check. You just.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Balance kind of a thing.
I guess, yeah.
Off balance, and there's Thompson. The look to the middle, and Hairmeyer gets a save.
But I think that for Alyssa Perella, it's her speed. They cannot catch her. So it's very hard to lock her off because she just runs by you.
JMU looking to get things cleared as we approach 1 minute to play. 16-8 here in Harrisonburg, Virginia. The sun peeking out from the clouds. Glad we could get this one in this afternoon. Storms in the area, but they did a good job by moving the time up to 2:30 so we could get this one in and get you a good clean game, even though it poured about half hour before the game started. And ever since then, we had one brief rain shower, and since then it's been pretty clear. So thank you, Mother Nature.
Yes, and whoever made that decision,
Yeah, well done.
That person should definitely have dinner paid for this evening.
I was checking the radar. I was like, I don't
You were.
know.
I told you they'd be fine.
I know.
I said I had a 50-50 chance.
JMU, 16-8 lead, about 30 seconds to go. Elon's going to have maybe one more opportunity here to get another goal, but if all stands to reason here with 20 seconds left to play, JMU looks like they're going to go 5-0 in conference play here in the CAA. Another outstanding conference season for the Dukes, and Elon fall just under 500 at 2-3. They're going to be in a fight for that 4th spot, but with Drexel losing today, now at 1-3, that game against William & Mary for Elon coming up next weekend is going to be huge. William & Mary at 1-3 in the conference. JMU will finish their conference schedule coming up on Sunday against that same William & Mary team. Elon's got Coastal Carolina also in the last weekend there next Sunday.
I will say, though, for JMU, congratulations on
Hermeyer gets a late save.
Beautiful save there. Just congratulations on keeping your focus for the season like that. Coming off of the year that you had prior, to be able to once again grab that top seed in the CAA means, you came back and you worked hard. You didn't lose your focus. Even though you graduated a multitude of talent, what those girls, the legacy that they left and what these girls have learned and brought into this season, JMU's right where they want to be.
This group hoping their legacy not only is another, run to the national title, but that 3-time CAA champion back-to-back-to-back. That is something that they're looking to do, this class of seniors and this James Madison group as well. So, once again, our final score, 16-8, James Madison over Elon this afternoon. Thanks for watching the CAA Game of the Week on LAC Sports Network. For Tracy Weiner, our producer Dylan Hand, and our entire crew, I am Tom Eschen. Our next CAA Game of the Week comes tomorrow on the men's side. Fairfield taking on 15th ranked UMass and Amherst. But that's all from Centera Park here in Harrisonburg. Let's send it back to the LSN Broadcast Center. JMU is going to continue to look to score now. There is the take to the net and the goal. It's Lizzie Fox, the freshman from North Rockland, scores.
Well, that's good because she's been out for, a couple of games injured, and now you come back in.
It's the Dukes who are still the top dogs in the CAA. Welcome back here into this Lacrosse Now post-game report. She's Megan Triplett. I'm Travis Eldridge. James Madison taking care of business today.
Oh, yeah. They definitely took care of business. At first, I thought this one might be a kind of a close game.
Tricky.
Elon's had a pretty decent, good season. They kind of stepped on the gas a little bit, but James Madison, whew, my goodness.
Yeah, the Dukes are, for real, there's a reason they're defending national champions. In case you missed anything, let's take you through the highlights from this one this afternoon. Game moved up a couple of hours due to all sorts of severe weather in the area in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Good stuff from the guys that made that decision because it was beautiful throughout this one. This is a beautiful play. Hannah Haven right through the defense. 5-0 start for the Dukes. Elon answers, though. Kaylee Thompson to May McGlynn. 5-1 game. Phoenix rising there on the board, but more where that came from for the Dukes toward the end of the first half. Haven to Katie Tchaikovsky makes it a 7-1 James Madison lead, and then in transition, Haven leaves off for Maddie McDaniel, going low, fake high, shoot low. Usually works out pretty well. James Madison up 8-1, but Elon looking to get a little bit of momentum entering halftime. It's Kaylee Thompson. She's having a spectacular freshman season. A little bit of momentum building there makes it 8-3 at the break. Second half, though, more Dukes. Tchaikovsky, the Daria Lucchesi makes it a 12-3 JMU lead, and there's more. Tchaikovsky dishing out helpers all over the place. This time finds Kelsey Reed. She had 4 assists on the afternoon. That point, it's a 10-goal James Madison lead, but Elon not going away. Thompson continuing to have a good season, works her way through, cuts it back to a 7-goal deficit, but just too much from James Madison at home. They are a tough team to beat there in Harrisonburg at Centera Park. Lizzie Fox putting the icing on top of the cake, makes it 16-8, and that would be your final. Haven's standout for James Madison today. 4 goals, 2 assists for 6 points. We mentioned Tchaikovsky. She had 4 assists to go along with a goal for 5 points on the afternoon in all. The Dukes really had it all clicking, and a lot of pressure being put on Elon as we take a look at the side-by-side stats for this game. In terms of shots on goal, a big advantage for James Madison. Saves toward Elon as they actually switched goalies as DeFada came out in the second half, and they went elsewhere for that second 30 minutes. Didn't really change much, and the draw control edge certainly towards James Madison. You can't score if you don't have the ball, and the Dukes dominating in the circle.
And then elsewhere in the CAA, another important game between Towson and Hofstra. Towson takes away with this one, and they won 13-12. Now, going into this game in the standings, both of these teams are 2-1 in the CAA, so this game definitely mattered for them, and Towson comes out on top. Thornton had 2 goals. Samonte had 5 goals in the big win, and Stack added on 2 goals. And the big thing for Hofstra, I know it was in a losing matter, but Alyssa Perella, 7 goals on the day. She was impressive, and she became the single-season goals leader for this during that game, for that one.
With her performance, Hofstra's Alyssa Perella breaking the Pride single-season points record. That was set at 81 from back in 2015, but she didn't stop there at 82. She continued on. She's now up to 86 points, and when you compare her through the record books in Hofstra history, pretty darn good. 70 goals so far this season. That's first place. Points in a season, now has the record. Goals in a career, still working on that one, sitting in second place with 176, and points, same thing, sitting in second place. But she still got another year to go. So, and she's just 3 points away from breaking the points record. So I think that's going to be hers by the end of this season.
Oh, definitely. She's just breaking records left and right.
Worth the price of admission, Alyssa Perella.
All right, let's move on to another game. Delaware and Drexel. This one also got moved up with storms. Storms are just coming everywhere later tonight. But don't worry, we had an early matchup between these 2 games. Let's get you the highlights now. Early in the first half, who's on the board first? It's going to be Drexel. Grace Osterdale buries the free position to get the Dragons on the board to make it 1-0. But less than 2 minutes later, Sydney Rasa takes it herself, and she goes through 3 defenders to get them on the board and tie everything up at 1. So Blue Hens trying to fight back in this one. And later in the half, you got to see this one. Delaware has taken the lead because of this young lady, Sydney Ratza. She is just scorching the Dragons at this point. That's her 5th straight goal for Delaware, and that one will give them the lead and extend that lead and make it 5-1. But 10 minutes later, Drexel only down 1 here. Carson Harris, she's going to nail this free position to get Drexel right back into this game. So now we're all knotted up at 5. Let's fast forward now to the second half. Delaware has the 1-goal lead at this point. The Blue Hens are going to reestablish that lead. Sarah Bedard, she fires it just over the defender, gets it off, and she's able to score on that one. So Delaware extends that lead and makes it 8-6. But a little under 16 minutes to play in the game. Drexel only going to be down 2 here. Grace Osterdale feeds a cutting Maggie Stetson. She's going to claw her way into that one, and the Dragons are now back within 1 of this game. So now it's 11-10, and things are getting interesting. Almost 10 minutes will go by until we get another goal. It's Maggie Stetson burying her 2nd goal off the free position to complete the comeback. We're all knotted up at 11, and Christine Long, she just goes straight to the goal herself, and she scores. Delaware has a 12-11 lead at that point. and that would do it. Delaware would go on to win this one 13-11. For Drexel, Harris had 5 points on the day. Osterdale had 3 goals, 1 assist, but Delaware, they move on to 7-8 on the season. That's their first conference win of the year, and Rasta led the way with 6 goals. That was 5 goals in the first half alone. DiRogerio had 5 goals with 2 goals, 3 assists, and Bedard added on 3 goals, 1 assist in the big win.
So here's what it all means for the current CAA women's standings. Remember, top 4 will play in the CAA tournament in a couple of weeks at James Madison. The Dukes taking care of business so far. They're now 5-0 with today's win. Hofstra and Towson both is sitting there in an interesting spot. They're both now 2-2 in CAA play. Towson now 3-1. Hofstra now 2-2 with today's result. So the Tigers certainly putting themselves right there in that 2 spot, but get the feeling that maybe Hofstra and Towson will play in that 2-3 game. Yeah. Elon drops to 2-3, and that Delaware-Drexel game important because Delaware now in contention to probably try to steal that 4th spot away from Elon.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough battle for that 4th spot between Delaware, William & Mary, and Drexel. They're all in that race for that 4th spot.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about the CAA standings and have highlights from today's Yale and Albany showdown on the men's side. That's tonight on the Cross Now at 9 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you're watching right here on LSN and on the LSN app.
Yeah, we'll have highlights of that one, set the stage for another busy Saturday, including our CAA men's game of the week tomorrow between UMass and Fairfield, but that's going to do it for post-game. She's Megan, I'm Travis. We'll see you later tonight.
Hey.
The following program is a special presentation of Lax Sports Network.
A position that changes the game. The guy who revolutionized that skill. Greg Gorenlian brings the best face-off guys in the country together.